Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary from Dylan Fan TV. Back at you another video. Like the content of this video, go smash that like button. Like the content of this channel, go subscribe, man. Look, so Ravens training camp day 5. Ravens had the day off yesterday, so they're back in action today. So we're gonna start with the injuries and probably talk about the defense first, as that's been the star. They've been the stars of training camp so far, and then we'll talk about the offense. All right. So just to talk about the injuries on the injury front, okay. Newest name added to the list was Kyle Van Noy. John Harbaugh says he has a neck thing that he doesn't believe to be too serious. But when you hear neck injury, I don't really know if that's something you said it's not too serious, but we'll see. Hopefully it's something that is minor. Kyle Van Noy to come back from it. We'll see, what happens from there. All right. But Lamar Jackson, Keaton Mitchell, TJ Tampa, Adiza Isaac, all in the injury list as well. Now, we know about Lamar Jackson that he practiced the day, well, a couple days ago now at this point, only for about an hour and 15 minutes, and then he had to leave once again. John Harbaugh said they're running all the tests that he can on Lamar Jackson. He's under supervision of the medical staff, and that's all we really know for now, right? So this illness, maybe something that's a week, a whole week kind of thing, then instead of a couple of days kind of sickness. So praying for Lamar. Hopefully he feels better. Things like that, because I'm sure what he's going through right now is not fun, right? So hopefully he gets better. When new news comes out about what's going on, we'll talk about it. But as of right now, he's still dealing with the illness. That's really all we know about Lamar Jackson. Okay, all right. Now today was the first padded practice of the summer. So things got a little physical. So let's talk about it, right? So on defense, right? Defense had their way once again today, right? Multiple interceptions today for the defense, right? Darryl Worley had a pick 6 today. Bump Cooper had a interception, and the Ravens' 7th round pick of this season, Sadusi Kane, also had an interception. Okay, and then first day of padded practice, things get a little physical. Justice Hill and Trenton Simpson got into apparently a little scuffle, nothing major. One shove a piece or something like that. Justice Hill picked up Trenton Simpson on a blitz, and they got into it a little bit, which is fine, right? It's when the weather gets hot, pads come on, you hitting, it's liable to be a little bit of tension, right? I would be surprised if there wasn't, right? I mean, I saw a video of I think it was the Texas training camp, and they had a full on fight going on in their training camp, right? So it happens. It's happening all around the NFL. Really ain't that big of a deal, okay? So, but to me, right, the biggest kind of takeaway from today, right? Just besides that the defense is playing well, they're playing better, not better, but playing how they've been pretty much this entire summer so far, which is great. Is the fact that the report of Zach Orr is disguising pressures and freeing up free rushes to the quarterback, right? There was a report today that there's been multiple times where Zach Orr he's calling up blitzes that's confusing the offensive line up front, and free rushes are getting to the quarterback, right? That happened today, right? So now listen, let's talk about it from the positive side, and you'll talk about it from the negative side. We can do that too, right? From the positive side, right? When the Ravens lost Mike McDonald, they brought in Zach Orr. The biggest question is, what would the main difference be? Will the Ravens still have the same kind of effect on offenses that they did last season, right? And listen, this is just one padded practice, so we're not getting too far ahead, but it's good to see that Zach Orr is still dialing up the kinds of blitzes where the offensive line don't know who to pick up and it's causing free rushes, right? That's what I want to hear, right? I want to hear that the defense is still going to be able to generate sacks and generate turnovers, right? Things that are going to set the opposing offenses back is exactly what I want to hear about what the Ravens defense is doing. They've been doing that, right? We're talking about getting interceptions, getting sacks, causing false starts. So things that are going to make the offensive lives harder, exactly what I want to hear, right? So my biggest question for Zach Orr was, what would his difference between a Zach Orr defense and a Mike McDonald defense, right? Now the system itself is probably generally going to be the same, but the tendencies of how they call it is going to be the difference, right? Just because of Zach Orr, I mean, we don't know anything about him as far as a play caller, but just going off his energy and how he's kind of high tempo, I think the Ravens will blitz a little bit more this year. I don't think they won't be Rex Ryan, Wink Martindale level blitzing, and I don't think the Ravens will ever go back to that kind of style. But I think they will blitz a little bit more, right? McDonald was very good with simulated pressures, making you think when people were coming in what actually were. And Ravens got home with 4 a lot, you know what I mean? So, but I think Zach Orr will kind of flat out blitz a little bit more, and also still have your disguises on the back end. So I love that update. To me, that's my favorite update of the day. That seeing that Zach Orr is calling up defense that's going to cause opposing offenses some confusion. I love that. All right. Now on the offensive side of the ball, right? You will talk about the negative side. The Ravens offensive line, I guess, is still a work in progress, right? There hasn't been anything saying that this Ravens offensive line is playing bad, this and that. Hasn't been anything like that, right? And also, I think it's still kind of unfair to fully judge it without Lamar Jackson being out there, right? It's hard to say what is truly going on, right? I'll be more concerned for saying that the Ravens offensive line is just straight up getting beat one-on-one pressure, but if we're talking about disguises, that could happen to any offensive line, right? So we'll wait a little bit more as more stuff comes out to really give my opinion on whether or not I'm overly concerned about the Ravens offensive line, right? Because the Ravens have enough talent on this team, whereas though if the offensive line is good, if it's right, that it should be all systems go. If the offensive line is not good though, that's a major hindrance, and that could be a huge problem. And I don't have to say that's the obvious, right? So if the Ravens offensive line is good, this team will be good. If their offensive line is not up to par, it could cause Ravens to fail to meet expectations. Okay. All right. So now, as far as the offense, they had some big plays today, though. It wasn't all just one-sided. Nelson Aguilar had a big play on a slant route. I believe Jefferson Rubeck said he took it to the house, but maybe Nate Wiggins would have caught him inside the 5. They were really trying to tackle. I don't know. But big play nonetheless. Isaiah Likely touchdown catch will be a big part of offense this season, as we know. And the Ravens ended the practice on Tez Walker touchdown from Devin Leary on the goal line. So apparently John Harbaugh gave the Ravens 4 shots at the end zone from the 4-yard line to get a touchdown. Ravens scored on first down. Tez Walker on Nate Wiggins, right? So that's a good way to end practice. They said Devin Leary had one of his best practice, if not his best practice in general of the summer. So the Ravens are trying to develop their next backup quarterback, right? Tyler Huntley's no longer here. Josh Johnson, I would imagine this is probably his last year in the NFL, at least last year with the Ravens. So Devin Leary, from next season on forward, will be the Ravens' backup quarterback. So, when he gets better, that makes you feel better if, say Lamar has to miss a game due to injury or illness or whatever, that he can come in and play next year, and from that point on, right, we'll go from there, right? But, so that's kind of the Ravens training camp report from the day, man. More good stuff from the defense. Like I said, the best report to me today is hearing about Zach Orr lining up and calling different coverages and blitzes that are confusing the offensive line and getting free rushes at the quarterback, right? We did not want to see that element of the defense go away, and according to this report, it's not gone away just yet. So to me, that's great news. That's positive. And on the Lamar Jackson front, all we can say is that I hope he gets better. Hope he feels good. Honestly, when he practiced a couple of days ago, I said it. I appreciate the effort of trying to tough it out, give it a go, and go out there. But I would have preferred him just to stay out the entire week until he fully felt like himself, right? Because now the national media is going to get to the story of Lamar Jackson being out with an illness, right? If he was just out consecutively the whole week, people will still be worried about it. But now the fact that he came back, left again, and now he's going to be out for a little bit is going to cause a bigger distraction than it needs to cause, right? So, hopefully next time we see Lamar Jackson, he is feeling like himself. We're not going to speculate on what the illness is because, just generally do not know. But just hope that he feels better, right? So that's my thoughts on Ravens training camp practice for today and some of the updates, man. Give me your thoughts in the comments and, we'll talk about it there. But it's Gabriel, Fan TV. I'm out.